Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to the All Things Sports Network preview of all 4 second-round matchups of the college football playoffs. I'm your host, Corey Ears. Would you do me a favor and hit those like and subscribe buttons? It's free and simple for you, but really changes the game for me. Actually, I just noticed about 90% of my viewers aren't subscribed. Let's join together and try to hit 500 subs by the national championship game. Let's get into this. Hey there, football fanatics. Thanks for tuning in from coast to coast.
We've got ourselves a Cotton Bowl clash that promises more drama than a Saturday night cereal.
It's the Miami Hurricanes versus the Ohio State Buckeyes, and folks,
This one's got stories stacked higher than a street corner newsstand.
now let's start with the Hurricanes, who punched their ticket to this quarterfinal showdown by surviving a defensive slugfest against Texas A&M 10-3 on the road.
They may be the number 10 seed, but they're playing with the swagger of a team that believes they should have been a shoo-in.
On the other side, the Buckeyes enter as the number 2 seed and the betting favorite in this matchup.
They're disciplined, they're physical, and they're built to squeeze the life out of opposing offenses like a python and shoulder pads.
Offensively, the Buckeyes bring balance and firepower. Quarterback Julian Sayin has been saying he's sharp all season, throwing for over 3,300 yards and 31 touchdowns.
When he's in rhythm, the ball jumps out of his hand like it's trying to catch the next train out of town.
The real intrigue is how Miami's defense, fresh off a suffocating performance, holds up against Ohio State's balanced attack. If the Hurricanes can generate pressure like they did last week,
We might just have ourselves a real barn burner.
but if Ohio State's line holds firm,
The Buckeyes can march up and down the field like them Redcoats used to do.
so tune your dials
Adjust your antennas,
and settle in.
because this showdown between Miami and Ohio State has the makings of a postseason classic.
2 proud programs
One massive stage.
and a ticket to the Fiesta Bowl on the line.
Strap in, folks. This one's shaping up to be a doozy of a game.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, football fans of all ages,
Gather around your telescreens.
the Oregon Ducks and the Texas Tech Red Raiders are about to face off in the Orange Bowl down in Miami.
And let me tell you, folks, this one's shaping up to be hotter than a $2 pistol.
Now, the Oregon offense comes into this contest looking like a well-oiled machine.
Fast, flashy, scoring points like they're getting paid by the touchdown.
But don't count out those Red Raiders.
Texas Tech has that West Texas grit that makes you feel they could fix a tractor, plow a field, still put up 35 points by supper.
The common denominator here is tempo.
Oregon wants to play football like it's a foot race at the county fair.
Texas Tech wants to make you one-dimensional to sit back and feast on your mistakes. But keep your eyes on Oregon's quarterback.
He's calm, cool, collected, and accurate enough to thread a needle in a windstorm.
But on the other side, Texas Tech's gunslinger has the confidence to make you think he'd throw into triple coverage just to prove a point.
And sometimes he does.
Texas Tech marches into this contest boasting the number 1 rush defense. Texas Tech marches into this contest boasting the number 1 rush defense in the nation.
Yes, sir, the very best in the land, giving up a measly 68.5 rushing yards a game.
But they don't just stop the run.
They politely decline the pass as well.
But don't overlook the Oregon Ducks.
They bring with them the number 4 overall defensive stats in the country.
But a few teams have cracked the 300-yard mark on them recently, including James Madison, who just threw for a whopping 509 yards against them.
You can bet the Texas Tech coaching staff has that circled, underlined, and highlighted in red and black ink.
So what should fans expect?
Fireworks.
And a whole lot of "did you see that" moments?
And maybe, just maybe, a little chaos.
This matchup may come down to which defense blinks first.
Oregon wants to prove these defensive lapses were nothing more than a blip on one of them their radar devices.
Texas Tech wants to show the world their defensive numbers aren't just impressive.
They're downright terrifying.
Expect a game played in the trenches. Every yard is earned, every pass contested.
And every first down celebrated like a ticker tape parade.
Oregon's offense will try to stretch the field, test that Red Raiders secondary.
And keep the tempo high.
Texas Tech will counter with discipline, physicality,
And the kind of swagger that'll make a 1930s prize fighter.
Huh?
The kind of defensive swagger that'll make a prize fighter tip his cap.
Oregon wants to prove they belong after last year's disappointing quarterfinal loss to Ohio State.
And Texas Tech wants to prove they are in no way here to obsquatulate.
Huh?
And we get to sit back, relax, and enjoy a football game.
The promise is to be more thrilling than a nickel-a-ride roller coaster.
Grab your popcorn
Adjust your antennas.
and tune in, because this Oregon versus Texas Tech showdown.
It's shaping up to be a real humdinger.
Good evening, sports fans across the nation.
We've got a Rose Bowl showdown that promises more tension than a tax on.
Huh?
The Alabama Crimson Tide against the undefeated, top-seeded Indiana Hoosiers. Now, folks, this isn't your grandfather's Indiana Hoosiers. No, sir.
These Hoosiers come into Pasadena with a defense tighter than a drum.
They boast the number 3 rush defense in the entire country, allowing just over 77 yards a game.
That's not a defense, that's a brick wall with a college education.
That keeps opposing coordinators up at night.
But don't count out the Crimson Tide. Alabama may not have vintage Saban-era numbers, but they're still stingy.
They allow just 289 yards per game, and their pass defense gives up a crisp 168 yards per contest.
That's the kind of discipline that'd make a drill sergeant proud.
What intrigues me is how these defenses clash with the opposing offenses.
Indiana's offense has been humming like like a well-tuned Packard, putting up nearly 42 points per game.
Wow.
Their quarterback is Heisman Trophy winning Fernando Mendoza.
Wow.
He throws with the confidence of a man who's never met a window he didn't think he could throw a football through.
Meanwhile, Alabama's offense is steady, efficient, and capable of explosive plays.
The kind of unit that lulls you to sleep, then hits you with a 60-yard bomb to remind you who they are.
Expect a game defined by patience, field position.
And whichever quarterback can handle the pressure when the pocket starts collapsing like a cheap lawn chair.
Indiana wants to control the tempo, lean on that elite run defense, and force Alabama into uncomfortable third and longs.
Alabama wants to test Indiana's secondary, stretch the field, and remind everybody that the Tide don't rebuild, they reload.
So tune in, folks. This isn't just a football game.
It's a clash of styles and a battle of wills. It feels like it was plucked straight out of one of them radio dramas. So polish your shoes, tip your caps.
And settle in. This Rose Bowl matchup is bound to be
A real razzle-dazzler.
Hey, 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 hey. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another chapter of postseason pigskin.
Ole Miss and Georgia is set for a rematch and promises more fireworks than a New Year's Eve parade in Times Square. These two teams met earlier in the season. It was a real humdinger.
Georgia walked away with a 43-35 victory. And for 3 quarters, the Rebels looked like they were auditioning for the role of the SEC's most explosive offense.
Wow.
Georgia needed a late rally to seal the deal. And you can bet your bottom dollar Ole Miss hasn't forgotten it.
In fact, the Rebels' defense has made it clear. Georgia handed them their only loss of the season. And the Ole Miss defenders have circled this game like it's a date with destiny.
They've been stewing, studying, and preparing like Sherlock Holmes and his dear Watson.
Wow.
But the Bulldogs have been sharpening their teeth as well.
Since that October showdown, their defense has improved
That's what
significantly.
they all
They've
say.
tightened up the coverage, cleared up the tackling, and rediscovered that Kirby Smart second-half stinginess.
If the first meeting was a shootout, Georgia is hoping the sequel will be a defensive clinic.
But offensively, Ole Miss comes in hotter than a cast-iron skillet.
With a new interim coach, they dropped 41 in their playoff opener.
Wow.
Moving the ball with the kind of rhythm that'll make a jazz band jealous.
Their quarterback play has been sharp, their tempo relentless.
And the confidence? Sky high.
Georgia counters with balance, poise.
And the kind of offensive efficiency that makes you wonder if their playbook was written by an engineer.
They don't panic, they don't rush, and they don't blink.
They just march down the field like a well-trained parade unit, one crisp step at a time.
So what should fans expect? A clash of styles, a battle of wills.
And a rematch dripping with storylines.
Ole Miss wants revenge and Georgia wants validation.
And not for nothing, a return to glory.
We get to enjoy a Sugar Bowl showdown.
And it feels like it was ripped straight from the golden age of radio.
So as the sun sets on our preview and rises on a weekend of gridiron glory, remember this. 3 wins stand between these teams and immortality.
The stakes are high, the tension thick, and the stage is set for a round of football that can echo through the ages. Tune in your dials, steady your nerves, and prepare yourselves.
Because the next chapter of this postseason saga is about to be written.